Hello everyone, how y'all doing? Hope you're having a great day so far. Welcome to another video. This is the What's Up March 2025 video. It's meant as a video log for people who support me on Patreon to keep up to date with the things that I've been working on in terms of content creation. So yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the things that I've been working on the past month and a half. This was originally supposed to be a What's Up February video, but it's taken so long that it's now already March. So yeah, I'm going to talk about things that I was doing on the end of January, throughout February, and what I'm planning to do on the next month. It's going to be a chilled out video, so I'm going to ramble a lot. Yeah, if you don't like those kinds of videos, that's fine. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. But if you do want to know a bit more of what I'm up to, what I focus on, this is the place to get that kind of information. So, things that I've been doing on the past couple of months. Organized a couple of the momentum meetups for the Demoscene. We organize them monthly, and I've been pretty much the main person responsible for making sure that they happen. Have some help, of course, from other people from Associação Inércia, which is the non-profit association that we have here in Portugal to help support the Demoscene event that we organize every year. And I'm very much involved in that, for those who don't know. So we organize these regular meetups called Momentum every single month, and I helped organize one from January and February, and we're currently trying to figure out where to host the next one in March. There are some options that maybe it's in Lisbon, maybe it's in Pombal. We're still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I was helping organize those, so that took a little bit, some calls, some going to the places and talking with people, stuff like that. Then I also had to help Genio with some accounting, and the planning for the Associação Inércia itself. Genio is the accountant. He usually does all the accounting, but he needed some help with some stuff to close it down before the yearly meeting that we will have in the middle of March. If you're an associate of Inercia, you probably already received the email inviting you to come. We needed to close all the accounts of stuff, and I helped him revising some numbers and with the list of events, that we helped organize this past year in 2024, and also the things that we're planning to do in 2025. So yeah, that took a while as well to do a few evenings of work. I also was more actively searching for a place to rent out, or either put my own stuff from that I have, or to use as a space for Inercia itself. For Inercia, we're in the talks with the Instituto Piaget to have a space there. They tell me that they are very interested, and it's definitely going forward, but they've been saying that for the last 2 months, and I don't know, I hope it comes to fruition. I'm giving time for people to, organize themselves and all that, and hopefully it will come to terms, but it hasn't materialized itself yet. If it materializes, we'll be able to use that space to both keep the stuff from Inercia, like the different equipment that we bought throughout the years, stuff that we bought to use at the place, and then we didn't really give out, like t-shirts and stuff like that. It always takes some space, so it would be nice to have a single space where we could store those kind of things. Because right now it's divided between my place, Genio's place, and Zero Shift's place. It's a bit divided through different places. It's very hard to do, like, when we want to do an inventory of something, we are depending on each other to do it. And if we had a central place, it would be a lot easier. Everything would just be there. It would be easy to, go grab something if we need for some other event, instead of having to ask other people. And we could also use the place to have the somehow regular meetings, and start creating different kinds of workshops and events and meetups for different kinds of scenes, not just for creative computing, but also for other things adjacent to that. Give workshops on how to start producing music, how to start drawing or doing 3D modeling, using tools to do demo making things, cables, TIC80, shader coding, different kind of workshops, creative writing, all sorts of different things that I have in my head bubbling, but we need a space to start working around that. There's some talks that we will get this one in pair with another association that's more focused around the maker scene, which would be good, because I would very much love to have a maker space connected to this kind of interpretative center for the demo scene. That's somehow a house of inertia. So yeah, still seeing how that works out. Proposal has been submitted. Talks seem positive so far. It just hasn't materialized yet. Should be soon, hopefully. I don't know. Meanwhile, I need a place to store my own stuff as well, because for those who don't know, I focus full-time on doing content creation. It doesn't pay very much, though. I get like 200 euros a month from this. Pays the bills, but not very much. My main source of income is renting out my old apartment, and that helps pay for the mortgage on the new apartment that I'm currently living on, and there's some extra leeway that comes out of that. That helps to pay a few more bills. So one of the rooms on that old apartment was still up full with stuff, mostly books. I have a very large library in part with my wife. And yeah, so when we were renting out the place, we reserved a room to store our stuff. They want the room, they're willing to pay for the room, so we were looking for alternatives for that, and we found the storage that would be cheaper, so it's more convenient to have stuff in the storage, but it requires moving everything from there. So I found the place meanwhile, and yeah, we're still in the process. We already signed the document, so we already have it, and now I have to start moving stuff. And my plan was to have it available within 2 months, by the end of April. But I pretty much have to do all the moving this month, because during April there's revision. I'll be 1 week out, and then after revision there's another festival happening, Festival Contact, which I want to go to, which is about writing for the fantasy and science fiction community in Portugal. It's one of the largest festivals focused on that niche genre of creative writing, and I want to be present in that because I also have a work recently released and stuff like that. So yeah, and I remember talking with people from Tuamu Coimbra, of going to Coimbra as well to give some workshops to the kids there, and that would be immediately after revision. So yeah, need to check what's up with that. Anyways, the point is I won't have much time in April, so most of the moving needs to happen here in March. But of course I have a lot of stuff already pending that I'm supposed to be doing in March, so it's going to be complicated. So yeah, that's going to be fun to deal with. Other stuff that I was doing this past couple of months, I did the Demoscene year highlights, which didn't have that many views, and it took quite a while of effort to do. It took me like almost 3 weeks to work on, because I kept getting distracted doing the weekly Demoscene report and other things. The year highlights takes a significant more amount of time to prepare and do. You have to get all of the data from Demozoo. First, you need to make sure that Demozoo has all of the data, because a lot of some demo parties are not fully edited there, like a small competition on Commodore 64. People just rely on CSTB, they don't put information up on Demozoo. And I had to add all that information that was missing to make sure that I had a complete listing of the entire year in Demozoo. So I did a lot of that work. So that took a few days in itself. Then I had to export everything, run all the queries, remember again how to run all the stuff that I'm supposed to run, like the different scripts that I had from previous years. but some of them were not very well documented, so I had to refigure it out somewhat. It didn't take as much as previous year though, so that was okay. Then I have a huge list of all the productions that exist and all the parties that exist, and I need to go through every single party that existed throughout the year, see which one was actually cancelled, which ones actually had releases worth mentioning, those kind of things. Ended up with a list of actual highlights, and then for every single of those parties in the highlights, I have to write a script of what I'm going to talk about. So what are the productions that are actually worth mentioning on the video? After that huge script is done, and it really takes a long time, like you reach April and you're done with revision, like, okay, now I'm done most of the work. No, wait, there's still all of the summer craziness of the demo parties that happens there. Once you're done with the summer, oh, I'm done. Oh no, there's still like Deadline, which had a lot of releases, and Silly Venture, we had a lot of releases, and all sorts of different things until the end of the year. So it's a very long list, and you need to try to summarize it as much as possible so it's not a very long video. And then you have to record, speaking of all of the things, and hopefully don't screw up that much so you don't have to do that many edits on it. And then do the visuals for all of the things. So adding all of the information that on the party, on the TIC80 thing that I had from last year. Thank you, Manchatronic, again for helping me put that together. And go through the video again, the already edited video, and whenever I'm speaking of the thing, moving on to the next screen to show it's everything on the background of that video is real-time generated, and I'm actually controlling with the arrows. As I'm playing the video of me speaking, I'm recording the capture of TIC80 with me moving the keys to show the stuff that's supposed to be shown in the background. So yeah, that takes a little bit of work. Of course, if I screw up, I can edit it somehow, but you will notice the jump, so it's best if it's like a single shot thing. So yeah, there was a lot of work, and then editing everything together, and on top of that, you have to download videos for all of the things that I'm highlighting. Sometimes I'm talking about productions that don't have a proper video capture. I have to do that video capture or trouble someone to get the video capture. So yeah, 3 weeks of my life doing that video, and I got like half of the views that a usual Demoscene report has, which takes like, it's a couple days of work to do the Demoscene report weekly video. So yeah, like, okay, 3 weeks, less views, maybe that's a hint that something is wrong here, either in the algorithm of YouTube, which is the usual, what do people usually complain about when a video doesn't perform well? It must be the algorithm screwing me, or maybe the concept of the video is not very appealing to people. Maybe people just don't care about the year highlights of the Demoscene, and I'm just wasting my time doing that video. Anyways, I promised myself that this year was gonna be the last one because it was just way too much work for so little views, so it's not worth it. I already know what my yearly highlights are. I don't need to spend 3 weeks of my life doing a video about them. I could very much easily just summarize out of the top of my head without having to do all the data collection, you know, of demos when preparing everything properly. Just do a smaller script, just focusing on the top 10, top 20 releases that I liked most in the year. Just talk about those instead of covering everything and giving like a general overview. So it ends up feeling like I'm doing like some research work of some sort without any, submission to anywhere. Just it's a video we just put online. Anyways, enough to talk about that. So yeah, then I also did the Demoscene reports, which need to be weekly, which kind of hinder all the other stuff that I'm doing. I'm focused on this thing, and then suddenly it's already the weekend, and I need to start doing, the effect for the TIC80. I need to start preparing the thing. I've been trying this thing, which is to actually script everything that I'm saying, so it's comes out a bit better. It does take more work to write everything up and revise it and make sure that it's okay. And sometimes I'm recording and I see something wrong and I have to either improvise or stop the recording, fix it, and re-record it again. I think the end result is a bit better, but it does take a bit more work to do it. And I've been editing everything as well. So that was one of the hopes that I was aiming for, is that when I was scripting everything, it would be easier to do a one shot of everything, but it hasn't turned out that way. I still misspeak sometimes, and I still have to edit stuff. And we've been adding all of the videos of the main demos that we talked about as well, like overlaying them so people can see what I am talking about, which I think is good for the viewer. People had been asking for that before, and I try to start doing it a bit more. I have some scripts to automatically get the demo video now, so it's not as hard to do it. I just type... I did a short script for YouTube DLP to get the usual formats on MP4 that are ready to play on DaVinci Resolve without the audio, which is always what I want. So now I just type, I just open a command line, I type Y, input the URL of the YouTube video, and it just downloads it automatically on the folder that I was launching it on, which is really good. So I created that for the highlights video of 2024, and now I'm reusing it for the Demoscene report, which is nice. I'm streamlining my way of doing videos. So yeah, that helps a little bit doing things, because previously I was always doing YT, WLP, and then -F to see the listing of all the commands, of all the, it's not commands, it's types, file formats that exist. They have a listing of all the different ones that they have available. And I always want a specific one, which is the highest quality video without sound, that is MP4. I don't want the other formats because they don't play very well on DaVinci. I would have to convert them later on. But the number can change depending on the resolution of the video that was uploaded. So, but there is a special command that you can write to try to get each different of these usual numbers by order. So if this one doesn't exist, you can try to get the next one, you can try to get the next one. So I figured out that that was an option, and I started using that, but it's a very long line, so I ended up doing a script. Anyways, moving on. Other stuff that was happening in February, there was Lovebyte happening, so I had to do a similar thing to the Demoscene year highlights, but focusing only on tiny size intros, which wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to. It was pretty much going over the Demoscene year highlights and just focusing entirely on size coding things below 1 kilobyte. Turned out okay. And I also already had the script going to get the videos faster. There's another problem with the tiny size coding entries, that a lot of them don't have video captures. So yeah, that was a bit, I had to capture myself some of them, or just show a screenshot and don't care because I don't have time to be capturing something for this esoteric platform myself at the moment. So I had to do that in a rush in a couple of days to be ready in time for Lovebyte. I also helped host Lovebyte, so doing the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. The opening ceremony we did a couple days, we pre-recorded a couple of days before the event. The closing ceremony was done live, so Genio came to my place and we just improvised live, which was a lot of fun. And I had some positive feedback on that as well, so that people really liked what we did with the closing ceremony. We always try to make it a bit, you know, goofy, not very serious, because it's so much information that we are giving out on the prize giving that it becomes boring. It's usually one of the most boring things on a demo party is the results. You know, you show a list of people applaud, they give you a prize. Here we don't have anyone picking up the prize, so it's even harder. So it's just reading names, literally reading nicknames and the points that they got in these huge listings, because Lovebyte has so many competitions, so it can be very, very tedious. So we came out with this formula to, you know, try to have live music and improvise and fool around pretty much. So it's like entertaining, not just informative, but also entertaining for the people who are watching on the live stream. So yeah, I think that worked pretty well. In terms of Lovebyte, I already talked a little bit about it on the text article that I did, resuming all of the Lovebyte activity that we did on my Patreon. It's probably gonna be the last Lovebyte. Super Rogue didn't want to be the main organizer. He wanted to pass it to me, but I don't have time to be doing it in February every year either. So I think we're gonna let Lovebyte die off, maybe organize another event eventually when we are more non-sick of it. But yeah, for now, I'm not. This version of Lovebyte was a bit lower in terms of scope. We had less competitions to work around the mountain bikes clashing on the same dates as well. So, but the quality was still pretty good. The quantity of submissions was also pretty good. So I think it worked out pretty well overall. So I'm happy with the last hurrah that we gave Lovebyte. Now we can focus our attention on other things that also need some love. Maybe eventually revisit Lovebyte to do, smaller event or maybe a bigger event again if people are really interested in that. But I think for now, the tiny size coding scene has been well served, and we need to focus on a few other things. Also, a lot of other... It's not me and Super Rogue that organize Lovebyte. Super Rogue is the main organizer. I help with hosting mostly. I don't help with a lot of the logistics, backstage stuff that I usually do at Inercia. So it's mostly Super Rogue, Blossom Row, and a few helping hands to do communication and things like that. And a few people also been retiring throughout these 4 years of activity. For one reason or another, they just, life catches up with them. We had a few new people joining in to help out, but no one picking up the main driving force of doing, the main organizing of the event, which was the most critical thing for Super Rogue and myself. So... yeah, we'll see how that works out. We'll probably have more talks about this with other people during revision and stuff like that in the summer. So maybe there will be another Lovebyte, but for now we don't have any plans for that. Other things that I was doing at the end of February, there was this book presentation for the Winepunk 2 book that I had a story on. It was the presentation party event to present it to the public in a library here in Lisbon. Not that many people showed up, which was a bit disappointing for me, but I got to meet some of the other writers that one of them I already knew, but it was nice to meet other two and have a talk about the book itself. So that was fun as well, despite not much attendance. I'm hoping we will do a similar session at Festival Contact that I was previously mentioning. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'm happy with the book, how it turned out, and I think people would really like reading it if they gave it a chance. I already talked about it before here on this channel, but it's to summarize, it's an alternative history book focused around what would have happened if wine was a source of energy, like fuel is or electricity is, and if that had been discovered in a specific pivotal moment in the history of Portugal. At some point, Portugal, the Republic of Portugal suffered a downfall, and the monarchy was trying to resurrect itself in the north of Portugal. So very short-lived resurrection. It lasted 3 days. And the concept behind it was that how if, instead of lasting just 3 days, if we extended it to 3 years and made an alternative history out of it, so people can imagine weird things happening in that period. Some of them are factual or based in factual facts of things and people that happened at the time, and others are completely made up and fictional and fantasy based. Yeah, that was the challenge opened to creative writers, and people wrote some submissions for the first year. Now the second year came out as well, and there will be a third volume as well, focusing on the aftermath of the thing. So yeah, interesting project. I liked it. I submitted. I was accepted. I ended up writing and rewriting some stuff for it, and now it's being presented. Other stuff that I'm supposed to mention, I received this in the mail from one of you. It was on my Amazon wish list, and it was sent to me. And people are doing some construction work outside, which is great timing for the video. Anyways, thank you so much to who sent me this, which was Stuart. Thank you, Stuart, for sending me this. It is a lens that I can put in front of the camera to reduce the glare on the camera, which it helps. It helps. I also meanwhile got what's it called? A teleprompter. So now I have the lens inside the camera, inside the teleprompter, and the teleprompter tends to have some glare on itself as well from when the image is being reflected. You sometimes see a little bar down here, and I had to tweak the things a little bit to make sure that the camera was pointing up enough that you didn't see the reflection down there. So I was hoping the filter would help with that as well. It didn't help that much, but I think the image quality is better than it was, I don't know, in December. So that was the main win that I'm happy with. And this is only possible through all of the donations that people do on my patreon.com/psenough and stuff on the Amazon wishlist. So thank you so much, everyone who has been donating random things to me, and money above all that I use to buy this equipment when I need to upgrade my setup. I'm going to put the Amazon wish list on the description below as well. If you feel generous and want to donate me some stuff, that would be cool as well. Other stuff, I have been reading this book, which was also donated by one of you, which is William Gibson's Spook Country. I just recently finished it. I think this one was by Santa, if I'm not mistaken. No, Santa gave me one of these series. I'm not sure if it's this one or the next one, the third one. So this one might have been from this Portuguese person that also follows my channel, which I don't remember the name right now. But I remember receiving the email from him telling me that he saw my video and that I was interested in the series and that he had the second one. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from him, but I don't remember his nickname right now. And I don't want to give out his real name because I'm not sure if he's interested in that. Anyways, thank you so much for that. It also helped. It's not part of the studio setup, but it's useful for me because I like to read science fiction stuff. So if it's books in my wish list, I'm also very grateful for people to donate me those. So it's a little money that I save on things that, you know, some people are very easygoing, lending out books and then giving books another life once they are done reading them. I'm one of those people myself, and my wife as well. We often give out books to other people that we already read or we have bought or obtained in some way in the past, but somehow decide that we're not really interested in reading. We try to give it out so it doesn't, you know, take space at home without anyone reading the book. So yeah, thanks so much for those helps in those areas. Then I attended an event from the Grade Cost thing that was happening here in Lisbon. It's this large European project around grassroots in creative computing. There's this big, what's the right name for it? It's a collaborative project between different institutions, and they're working to create different things to interconnect above all, but also they are writing some research on different areas of field that interconnect with that. So they get some support and they organize these different meetups on different places. I attended the one in Berlin to give a presentation on the Demoscene and what we are doing archiving in the Demoscene, which is part of the Creative Commons community and a grassroots activity at that. And now there was a meetup here in Lisbon, and it's so close by, I just went there and hanged out with people, network a little bit, give some information, talk about this idea that I've been having to create a visualization timeline system as well, which I'll talk more about it later. So yeah, it was good to network, but it also took me a couple of days from my usual work schedule to go there and attend and talk with people. But it was pretty cool. Other things, I have a sick rabbit, which needed to go to the veterinarian to figure out what's wrong with him. There was a tumor that was growing on him, so that took some work as well and some trips back and forth. So that wasted a little bit of money, but the good news is that he already had his surgery and he's currently recovering. His second day that he's here back home already, and he seems to be doing all right. He's not as active as he used to be, but I think he's still a little bit in pain inside and recovering from the whole ordeal. But he's eating, he's pooping, so now we just have to wait and see and hope that the scar doesn't get infected in any way. So yeah, that took a little bit of my attention as well on these last couple of weeks. About the timeline visualization thing that I was talking about. So I have this idea, I have been cooking this idea for a long time, which is when we finally get our space for inertia, one of the things that I want to present is a way to see the timeline of how a platform been developing throughout the years. And by platform, I mean like a computer, like a Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, the Atari, or something more esoteric with a common ground like Macromedia Flash or processing or stuff like that. So the idea is to have like a timeline that shows when the platform was created and the number of entries that it had. If it's like a console, the year that's been jailbroken. Also being able to list the games that existed, both the quantity of them and like the titles that were more highly praised, and then also having the Demoscene content related to that. So yeah, pretty much a data visualization project. But what's the catch here? The catch here is that I don't want to make a website showing that information. And gathering the information is going to be hard. I already have the contacts for, well, I'm part of that of the work to getting the Demoscene information. Is pretty much export from DemoZoo and do some how's it called? Not processing. Well, processing the data, treating the data to fit I don't know, a JSON format or something that I can use in the visualization scheme. I don't want to do just a website showing, you know, 2 lines comparing different platforms. I want to do something that is more interactive and also more modular than that. And I already have a system for the architecture that exists, the assisted performer tool that I've been developing for many years, and it's been in a bit of a hiatus, but it's pretty much a system that serves web pages, but also connects to other engines. Like you can do connections to Unity, you can do connections to Unreal. So if you want some native application running, you can also have connections for that, and it also connects to physical computing devices. So if you want to use a button to trigger something showing up on the website, I already have the architecture in place to communicate with that, you know. Having a system, a server running where all of them connect and then communicate back and forth on what needs to be passed along. What are the parameters that are available and what things can be controlled where. So the main idea of this project is have a visualization screen, which might be a projection, might be a projector, might be a monitor, I'm not sure yet. It can even be multiple projectors or multiple monitors. That is doable by default. And then being able to select things there, what platforms are shown, which ones are not shown, go into detail of the things there, and then select the media. And in the media itself, you allow to be able to export it to play on the devices that are also connected. So if you have like a tablet, for example, you can tell to open more information on the tablet, which allows you for browsing stuff. Like if you have 4 tablets down here and you see a big visualization screen, you can control the data that is being visualized using some buttons or something like that, something that is intuitive to control. If it's something by touch, you can also use the touch to go there, and then you can send the information to one of the other systems so people can read the information with more detail without cluttering the overview. So that's the idea. Also connecting it to emulators or machines ready to run the stuff. So if you want to run this demo, you just click run on emulator and it runs on that other machine that has the emulator ready to rock. Or trying to connect it with machines to actually just play it real time, which is a bit harder to make work. But I heard there are some projects to do that kind of stuff for the different vintage computer platforms as well. So, yeah, it's an ambitious project. My plan is to start working it on July and going up until December, and then present it in December at Inercia Demo Party. So I'm trying to get some funding for that. I just finished writing a proposal to Gulbenkian. Gulbenkian is this arts institute that gives out support for different kinds of arts, and they were running this program for artistic creative works. So I submitted a thing and trying to shape it as interactive installation piece, art piece, with also relevant data visualization elements in it, which is not very common to have. Most of the data visualization interactive installations that exist are like to communicate something, but not clearly what the data is. They're just trying to make you think about the data, so it's more art and less information in a way. So I'm trying to do a project where it's fun to interact above all. That's the main artistic part of it. Like there's some effects happening, some ways to interact that are appealing, that kids will want to play with, and that at the same time also has the access to all of the different information. So if people just want to play with it, they can play with it. If they want to dig deep into, compare the Commodore 64 with the ZX Spectrum, they can also do that. If they want to find that special demo, they can also, search for it in that specific year for those specific platforms and hone down on it and have it, play as a preview on some other machine close by. So that was the main idea. I want to develop this system to have it available on the Demoscene Center Museum that we're planning for long term, if plans come to fruition. And I want to develop this project for myself because I think it's worthwhile, it's interesting, it's relevant, and I want to develop it as an open source project. So if other people want to reuse it for other museums, I was talking with some people from Czechia, where they are doing a lot of work in the museum there to scan all the different stuff, and they are focusing specific on Pong and the different versions of Pong that existed throughout the different clones using the Pong chip. And it's one of the projects that could easily be integrated in some way to adapt the system to also show a timeline of all the different Pong elements. And when you click on one of them, see the information about the author, the year, some photos or videos of it working. So yeah, having the project being reused later on by other museums of retro computing or being showcased at random events of either retro gaming or pop culture in some way, that's also part of the appeal to developing this project. And having it modular so that it can be easily customized. So if people want to have a different visualization of the same information, they can just work on that aspect and everything else still works the same. So yeah, that's the concept, that's the idea, that's what I pitched, that's what I budgeted for, and let's see if they are willing to support me doing that, or if I have to take on all of the costs myself. I think regardless if they support me or not, I will try to work on it. I'm not sure if I will have all of the time. How can I say this? If they approve the project, I have a financial incentive to focus on that in detriment to other stuff that I've been focusing on. Because I need to complete it to make sure that I receive the funding for it. If I don't get the funding for it, I might still work on the prototype depending on my availability throughout the year. I want to get some other things done in the year as well, namely the 25 years of Enough Records book that I've been planning and only barely started working on, and I really want to kick it off after revision is done. So I really want to focus on that, but I'm not sure how long it will take, how hard it will be, if it's just going to be a couple of weeks or if it's going to be like months and months. So I'm wondering if that's going to overlap with this kind of project as well. And then I have to organize Inercia as well, which is a team effort, of course, but I usually very much involved in terms of making sure that everything is happening in time, and most of that work is happening in September, October, and November, which would be also coinciding with the final stages of this visualization project. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things evolve. If the project is approved, I'll definitely do it. If it's not approved, I might put it on my to-do list for later on, or just try a more basic prototype of it working, like just a single timeline in a single screen instead of connecting all of the things. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see. What else? Enough Records stuff. So I have this net label called Enough Records, as most of you probably know. We release music free for download online, and I do all the work pretty much for free. We have a budget of money that we get from Bandcamp and Root Note that distributes it to commercial platforms. That gets like 200 euros a month or something like that. Which I usually charge as services to help promote the label, focusing 1 day every day, 1 hour every day to spam things and process things, which is not much, but it helps a little bit. So things that I have to do for Enough Records. There is a new release coming up, actually two of them, a new album that is just waiting on artwork to come out. There's a new written text thing that was submitted, and I haven't had time to read it yet. Fun thing about text is that it takes a lot longer to give feedback than audio. Audio, you just listen to it in about an hour and you're done. You can already send an email saying what you think. Maybe you need to re-listen it again on 2 hours of your life and it's done. When it's a book, it takes longer to read it, It just takes longer. You need to find the right timing. You need to find the right state of mind. For music, you also need that. You need to be in the right frame of mind to listen to the music properly. But for reading, somehow, it always takes me longer to give some feedback. So I have this book submission pending to read and give feedback, and I haven't even picked it up yet. Just been so busy with Lovebyte and all the things that I mentioned that I haven't picked it up, and I need to start doing it now, but now I have to move all the stuff, so I don't know. One of these evenings I'll manage to have a go at that. Then I need to write a transparency report because it's already been 1 year, and every year I do like a run-up of all of the numbers of things that happened, how many listens we had, how many downloads, how much money we got from each thing, how much cost we got on each thing, and since we are non-profit, everything that we get that was not an expense, we have to donate it to some other entity. Usually I donate it to archive.org or EFF. There are a few other institutions that I also sometimes donate the money to. But yeah, I need to do like a report and do a write-up on that. So collect all the numbers, take screenshots of things, write an article about that, put it on the website. And talking about the website, I also been remodeling the Enough Records website to do something that's completely static and more lightweight and hosted at GitHub pages instead of the current scene.org hosting that we have. I was in the process of doing that, and then I ran out of time because I was busy with inercia and other stuff, I believe. So it was left pending. But I did most of the hard work, I think. There are still a few things that are a bit iffy. I'm not sure how to solve, but I did some conversion scripts to convert the JSON outputs into markdown text that can be easily imported by Jekyll on GitHub pages. So that was the main difficulty of the project, in my humble opinion. So now that's pretty much solved. I have to redo the same or do similar process for the articles themselves, and I need to figure out the feed. And I need to figure out how to get the player still playing music if you want to listen directly from the website, which is something that I'm not sure people even use at all, but it was always an interesting feature to have. And I also need to figure out the search thing, because if it's not dynamic website, I need to have all of the search information easily available to search for whatever we want to search. So I need to figure that out. So yeah, multiple things, yet another website to do. I hate doing websites. I hate so much doing websites. I always end up having to do one more website. I really hate doing websites. If someone is a web developer that would like to help do a website for a music label that's been running nonprofit for 25 years, please get in touch. I would very much love to pass this task on to you and work with you to get that done. The previous website that we had for Enough was also done by a volunteer, Dan Peddle. But it was done using React at the time. This was like 10 years ago, more than that, which is deprecated technology. That's why I want to change everything to make it run on Jekyll now, and that's why it's taking a bit longer, because I don't want to rely on React. I can't rely on React. It's deprecated. It's that it has some vulnerabilities. If I try to upgrade the version, everything breaks and I need to rewrite stuff, and I hate the model view container way of doing websites to begin with. So I prefer going the Jekyll way and making sure that the whole site is static to begin with, and has meta information on every single release, which is something that has been barely missing from our website so far. Like if you link to a specific release, it just says generic information about Enough Records. It doesn't say specific metadata information about that release in particular, and I think that really helps a lot to spam stuff on social media. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to tackle with this remodel of the website. Anyways, the alarm clock is about to go off to me to go out and pick up the kid and take him to judo practice and other stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. Sorry for the long ramble. These are the things that I've been working on, that I'm planning to work on in the future. I'm taking a little bit of a break from the weekly Demoscene report because it's a bit of a low season on Demoscene right now, but I will go back to doing regular Demoscene reports or weekly Demoscene reports once the results from Forever are out, probably after Spec EPL, if the results are immediately available as well before I go to revision. And then I'll do a few regular ones after revision, because there are always write-ups and follow-ups and things that happen after revision. So at least those I will do regularly, and then I might miss another week or two. So yeah, I'm playing it more, instead of having every single week and just forcing an input out where I only have 5 or 6 things to say. I'd rather accumulate things and do a slightly longer thing, going back and forth on that formula. So yeah, we'll see. If I have a lot of information, I'll just do another issue. And whenever there is a big party happening, I will always have to do another issue. So yeah, trying to keep still doing them. But yeah, they have been a lot of work. And if you want to help with that, the main thing that you can help with Demoscene report is, one, make sure that the releases are immediately uploaded to scene.org and information added on Demozoo, both on listing on the parties and the screenshots, because it takes a lot of work to get the screenshots of every single production as well. So if you can help with that, and if you're a party organizer, please consider doing that, because you have the screenshots on your system for the voting system. Just add them on Demozoo, please. And backgrounds, tick 80 backgrounds for that I can reuse, because sometimes it's already Monday and I don't have a background and I have to do something without being in the creative state of mind, and it's just boring work at that point. So if someone has some random backgrounds that they would appreciate me using, just send them my way. I'll credit you for having done them. I just change a few things and put the lettering on the top left corner. So yeah, that would be a nice way to support the weekly Demoscene report as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for all the help that you've been and support that you've been giving. The channel on YouTube has been growing steadily, so thank you very much. We'll probably reach 5,000 subscribers in a couple of months, so that's going to be really cool. And thank you everyone for my Patreon supporters, also for supporting me. You hear the sound? This is the sound that I need to go. Bye bye everybody. Take care.